And we're live.
Hey everybody, this is Seth Kenny, Keep It Real, and this is Alan Urazar, the Ninja. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you? Just coming back
Good to
from a
see
call,
everybody.
but everything's good.
Can you hear me okay, Alan?
Yes, I can hear you fine. I think there's a little bit of delay, so I hope we don't cross each other on the questions and answers.
You can interrupt me, I don't mind, man. This is the first time for me to be in a workshop since Las Vegas, and it's so cool to see faces in here who I recognize, Mary and Brittany and Lucas. This is so cool. Esther, Kit Kat, Monty and Cecilia. So very, very cool to see you guys. Well, everybody, hope you're doing really awesome. We're just going to jump right in. Today is all about reviews, and we're going to talk about this. It's so important because it is easy to do one of two things: to overemphasize reviews on Amazon or to underemphasize. And so we just want to talk about the pros and cons. And then after we go through the content that we've prepared for you, we're going to open it up for Q&A. Any questions you have about how to get reviews? What about video reviews? Can you get those on your product listing? What does that look like? Product social proof or launching it your own way? Just different things like that. So anything you have about reviews, that's what Alan and I are here to help you guys with. Ready to do this, Alan?
Sounds good, man. Let me start up the presentation.
All right, awesome.
All right, man.
Okay.
We're good.
All right. So how much do reviews matter? So we're going to talk about two things, you guys: the importance of reviews and the limitations of Amazon reviews. One of the most common emails I get from people who are not part of Just One Dime yet is, how can you help me get more reviews on my listing? And the first question I ask is not, oh, here's how to do it. My first question is your listing worth getting reviews on? You only want reviews on the listing that's actually worth it. So that's the most important thing. So for those of you guys who just joined Just One Dime, if you have a listing and it's dead, instead of saying, oh, I only have 10 reviews, my competitors have 20,000, I need to get more reviews, that's the wrong question. The first question needs to be this: how good is my listing compared to the competition? Does it rank, number one? And number two, when it does rank, what percentage of people actually purchase it? This is so important, you guys. But first, we're going to talk about why reviews matter. So first, they legitimize your product. You need reviews on your listing. Can you launch a product without reviews? Absolutely, you can. There are people in this team who've done it. My wife and I did it numerous times. If your product is legitimate, if your product is differentiated well enough, you don't need reviews. There's a situation where you wouldn't need reviews, where people will buy it and it just starts ranking on its own. But I will tell you, it'll take a lot longer. So the reason you want to get reviews is for two reasons. You're saving time and you're saving money. If you don't have reviews on your product and you know your product's the best, it isn't just the best, but it also looks the best on the listing, and you have to wait, for a month of a few sales, 1 a day, 2 a day, then 5 a day, then 6 a day, and it's just kind of limping along, and finally you get a review, then you notice that sales pick up, that's time lost. So you need to get reviews on there, and it's better to have 1 5-star review than it is to have 3 3-star reviews. So they legitimize your product. It's also called social proof. People are smart. They go online, they check things out, they look at reviews to get an idea of whether or not they should buy something. And this is more common today even than it was 3 years ago. So they legitimize your product. Second, they legitimize.
And it's so funny, Seth, that you mentioned that, because I always see my wife, going through reviews after reviews, just reading, the reviews to see before she makes a decision of buying something. And for some people, it's not really important, but for most people on Amazon, it's very important. And then when you are on the seller side, you can see a difference of having a product with 0 or a few reviews, and then having a product with 20, 30, 40 reviews. The velocity of the sales also increase because people are more comfortable buying the product after reading a few reviews.
Yes, 100% true. At the same time, and here's where it gets really weird, you guys, to have 40 reviews versus 0 has a much greater impact on your sales velocity. And by that, Alan's referring to how fast it sells, how many times a day, which affects your BSR. That is much greater weight than going from 40 to 4,000. So your first 5 reviews are going to have way more impact on your sales velocity than the next 1,000 reviews. So keep that in mind. Every time you get another review, it becomes less powerful. Because once there's 1,000 reviews versus 500, people don't care that much anymore. But you need some to get it going. And Alan's 100% correct. You need it to see it ranking. But what do you guys do when you look at the competition and this one guy over here has 5 and someone else over here has, 300, but the one with 5 reviews is selling a lot faster? How do they do that? And we're going to show you in a minute. Second reason reviews matter is they legitimize your company. A review says something about your company. Now this is, if legitimizing your product is the short game, I want to sell. I need to sell. I need to make money. Then the long game is legitimizing your company, and this ties into your branding. So at some point, and people on our team have reached this now, your people have gone from 0 to over 1 million. Like, that's a long path, and it's a hard path, but the further you go, the easier it gets to keep scaling. The first few months are always the hardest. But once you get to that point where you're selling a ton, or really you're managing, it's not about like trying to manage and time your lunches and keep up with this and make sure that's automated. You're not like, oh, can I get this product to sell? It's more about managing it. It's a different feel. You're going to see all these products and they're going to look at the reviews. And if, let's just say 50% of your products have 3-star reviews, or hardly any reviews at all, and they've been out for a while and they can see on that date, that's going to hurt your brand. So the 2 reasons for reviews, number 1, for your product, that's the early days, but number 2, to legitimize your company, that's the long-term branding plan. Third, they provide details the listing could never include. Your listing, you have limited real estate when you create the copy for your listing. That's why copy is so important. That's why Christine does an entire webinar on this every week. You need the copy to be excellent. You have like this little tiny piece of real estate in which to persuade your customer that your product is the best, and it's going to go above and beyond satisfying their want or need. But the listing cannot include everything. For example, let's say it's a baby product in the bathtub, and it's like one of those that these are very popular today. They stick it on the wall with suction cups, and it's holding something like a bathroom organizer, rubber ducky, whatever, shampoo. And a mom talks about her experience bringing her little 2 or 3-year-old into there and bathing them, and this thing falls and hits them in the head. Okay, obviously that kind of information would never show up on a listing, and that's negative information. That's why people read reviews, especially high-risk products. The higher risk your product is, the more important reviews become. The lower risk your product is, the less important they become. So don't just think like this. Hey, I got this really cool mug. By the way, see the J on there? I'll let you guys guess what that stands for. I got this really cool tea mug right here, made of solid wood. Okay, I'm going to sell this. Oh no, it's not selling enough. I need 400 more reviews. Don't think of it that way. What is the risk of this? How badly do people need to know about it before buying it? Some stuff, it's a slam dunk. In fact, as a general rule of thumb, the lower the cost of your product, the less time people will spend reading reviews. The higher cost your product, the more time people will spend reading the review, because there's greater risk. Sitting over here is this really nice massage chair that my wife got me for Christmas. That thing is freaking expensive. She read a lot of reviews before buying that massage chair. That's several $1,000s. I think that's like the most expensive Christmas gift I've ever had. I feel spoiled. But it's a really nice Christmas gift. It's something I've wanted, for the longest time. She's finally just surprised me with it. This massive box showed up. People are going to read those reviews because that's a big expense. But if I'm buying, a thing of markers, they're going to spend less time. So keep that in mind, you guys. Also keep in mind, when someone writes a review about your product, there's certain things they're going to think about that you wouldn't. So when you ask people to give you reviews, you need to try to think outside of what your product is about. Don't just think, oh, well, my product, what I put in the listing is it's solid wood and it's got a nice varnish and it's got a cool J on it, and it's this many ounces. You need to think beyond that. What do people want to hear that your listing doesn't talk about? See, you guys need people talking about other stuff. So in other words, when you studied your product and you're ready to launch it, you know it and the competition so well You could have 10 pages of copy to write about how awesome it is. You're going to pull out only the best. You're going to put that in the copy, the title, the bullet points, the product description. Then you're going to take the rest and you're going to say, okay, for the other 9/10 of stuff that I couldn't include on the listing, that's something I need people talking about in the reviews. Not only you want them talking about the main points as well, but they need to include other stuff. That does two things. Number one, your reviews become copy for your listing. It's like you got the copy, the sales copy, and you have what people write about it. Now it's double the information. Look, if I go to your product, you guys, and you give me points 1, 2, and 3 to buy your product, then I read a review and it gives me points 4, 5 to 6. What just happened? Double the persuasion to buy your product. So don't just have them write reviews about things that you want on the listing. Have them write about things that you don't have room enough or enough real estate to include on the listing.
Yeah, we also figured out that this is one of the fastest ways that we can find out if we're missing something on our product. So, for example, we've been selling a product that we got like 3 or 4 reviews in a row in like a week, and everybody was just talking about that one point, and it was instructions. The instructions weren't clear enough, so we changed that right away. You know, in the next batch we sent, it was new instructions, better, more clear, and we haven't had any more negative feedbacks on that point. So that's very easy to figure out once you start getting a few reviews on specific points.
Absolutely, that's an excellent point. And if you guys look at the 4th point, your bounce rate is going to decrease. Now, for those of you guys who build websites, you know what I'm talking about. When bounce rate is out of 100 people who show up at your website, how long do they stay there? How many of them bounce or leave? Okay, hey, bounce, man, right? Like they say on the street, bounce, yo. How many of them bounce or leave within a certain amount of time? You want your listing to be what's called sticky, just like a regular blog or a website. What does sticky mean? You want people, when they get there, to want to stay there. Okay, you want them to stay there. Go ahead and go back, Alan, to the last one, because I want to finish on this point. You want them to stay on the listing as long as possible. So reviews will decrease the bounce rate. Why? Because if there's a review there, they're more likely to stay longer and read it. The longer your shopper stays on your listing, every second, the chance of them buying is going to increase every single second. This is a proven fact. It's psychological. The more it's like this. We had an Instagram post, and I love this post. It's about basically someone says, you love me. I'm like, huh? And then the next day, you want me, huh? You know, oh, yeah, maybe I do. Oh, I do. Oh, I love you. Like, that's how advertising works. If they hear it enough times, psychologically, they become more and more persuaded. Well, in the same way, the more review content is on your listing, especially for people who really like to investigate before they buy, that's going to increase. Some of you guys, think about how you buy. Some of you just look at a few things and you buy quickly. Others of you, you'll spend an hour reading all the reviews or a lot of them before you buy. Realize you have all those kinds of potential customers going to your listing. Anything you want to add to that, Alan?
Yeah, I read on a blog, and I think I shared that on the presentation with you before. They estimate about 64% of people base their buying decision after they have read reviews on Amazon. Depending on the category, but it's a big percentage of people that actually look at reviews and they consider their final decision after they have read reviews. So it's very important to consider that.
Yeah, absolutely, it really is. All right, let's go on to the next slide. So we talked about why they matter. Now we're going to talk about the limitations. So the first point on limitations is, go ahead, Alan. You go to the next slide. There we go. Buyers know reviews can be manipulated. Even 6 months ago, this was less true. It's becoming more and more true. So keep in mind, you guys, buyers know, they're smart. A lot of them, not all of them. That sounds bad. Not all of them are smart. Not all of them are savvy enough or knowledgeable enough to know that a review can be manipulated. They know that. So when you go onto your listing and you get reviews on there, understand That doesn't guarantee people are going to buy. It does increase the chance, but buyers are smart. They know that. So one of your goals is when you get those first reviews on there, you want those to be as legitimate as you possibly can, which goes back to my other point. Have them write about things that you didn't include on the listing. The second limitation of Amazon reviews is the number of reviews is not as important as the number of stars. Do not be intimidated if you have 10 competitors who are ranking higher than you, and you're still on that first page, but you're, number 11 or number 12, and you look at it and your first thought is, well, they have 2,000 reviews, they have 4,000, they have 3,000, I have 10. I need more reviews. That is not necessarily true. Don't assume that them having more reviews is the reason they're getting more sales. The number one most important question is it convertible? And the way you do that is you have the best featured photo. And second, you have the best copy. And third, it's relevant, so it's ranking. Reviews matter, but it's better to get 5-star, 4.5-star, 10 reviews than to get a huge host of 3.5-star reviews. Thirdly, on the third point, a single video review is worth 25 written reviews. Now, this isn't just my opinion based on my experience. This is based on other people who are also selling on Amazon and been doing this for years. A video review has a ton of influence. And by video review, I don't mean where you actually get the video embedded as part of the listing. In other words, moving up to the vendor central, which limits your freedom, but also gives you more options for advertising and so forth. I'm talking about, let's say I buy your product, and when I do a review on it, I include a video of me using the product. I'm demonstrating that. That's powerful because people actually get to see it over video. It's one thing to have a picture. And again, people are smart. They know pictures also are manipulated. Of course, you're going to make that picture look better than life. Of course you are. And you should do nothing less than that. But people also know when they actually see a video, it's really hard to manipulate a video if it's a regular person who isn't some professional video editor and they're just talking about a product. How do you manipulate that? Like, it's next to impossible. In most people, they're not going to have the time or money to spend time on trying to make it look better than it is. They're just going to show it to you as it is. So getting a single video review is worth 25 written reviews. And again, that is not a proven statistic, but I can name 10 different high-end sellers, millionaires, who would say absolutely even more. So I really strongly urge you guys, if you had a choice to get 3 5-star reviews and one of them be an excellent video review, that's better than getting 25 5-star reviews. That's more important because it's going to be more persuasive to your customer and people love to see the video. Next point is your reviews are only as good as your differentiation. I should have put this as the first point because this is the most important point. This is more important than your featured photo. This is more important than the video review. People on this team have launched products without a single review on it, and it started selling right away. Maybe not 100 a day, but 5 or 6 or 7 a day. And it just started to pick up and pick up and pick up and pick up. When I started on Amazon, I never tried to get reviews. I didn't even think of it. My point was to differentiate. My secret weapon to making a ton of money is differentiation. When I study the competitor reviews, study their reviews, think about that. I'm looking at their reviews and I'm using that data against them to build ours better. As a result, if mine is built better, even without reviews, differentiation is more important because eventually reviews catch up on you. Eventually, if your product is crap, it's going to get 3 stars, then 2.5 stars, and it's going to get lower and lower and lower. And the answer is not, oh, I need to get more 5-star reviews. No, no, no. You need to ask, why am I getting 3-star reviews? What do I need to do to fix it? How can I take ownership for the error in my product? Now, I know that sometimes, and it'll happen, competitors, happens to us all the time. They go and they buy your product and they give you ridiculous review. You can read the review like, this is stupid. A 1-star, 99% of 1-star reviews are complete junk. Like, it's obvious. Like, unless the person was having a really bad day or it hurt them physically, most people in their right mind when they're being objective don't just blast you, right? They're not going to blast your product for nothing unless it's a personal thing or they're your competitor. So when that happens, you guys, don't freak out. Don't lose a week of sleep over it. Keep going. Don't focus and obsess over that one negative review and let it consume you. That one negative review cannot take your listing down. Now, if you're getting 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, you need to call Amazon. Something's going on, right? But one negative review, even if the percentage is throwing off your number, okay, I need to get 10 more reviews. I'm going to do it. Easy to do. I'm in a community. I'm going to find people. I'll use product social proof. I'll use my own method. Doesn't matter how you do it. I'm going to find a way to do that. It is so much more important, everyone, that you differentiate your product. It should be so good that it's mind-blowingly superior to every other product. That is far better than getting reviews. Reviews eventually are going to get on there anyways. But if your product is obviously better than everyone else's, look, all the time and energy spent on getting reviews is good. But if differentiation is here, okay, and your reviews are here, they'll never get above differentiation. Your product's differentiation, the better it is, the more reviews count. But they'll never, they won't get any better. Does that make sense, Alan? Am I explaining that clearly?
Yeah, no, and I think for me personally, we find ourselves spending a lot more time on research and finding different ways to differentiate because we've seen that just by having a very good product and differentiating enough to the competition, we can start having a lot of sales, and for some products, not even have a lot of reviews. So differentiation is a big part of research now for us. It's not just throwing up a product. It's studying the product enough to know that our product is going to be the best on the market. And a lot of people they get a little bit of they want to rush the whole research process, and I think it's better to spend the time doing that part and doing it well. So reviews is not going to be a huge part of the sales process, but it's just going to give you more power on your listing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I see some comments and questions in here. I'm going to respond to them real quick, and then we'll go right back to our next slide. So let me just scroll up a little bit. So it's like telemarketers. The longer they can keep you on the phone, more likely it is for you to buy. Absolutely. You're exactly right, John. So you want your listing to be sticky. Reviews causes people to stay on that listing longer. Or shoot them. Your reviews are your telemarketers. Yep. Everyone is busy, says Fred. I find once I've invested time into a listing for an item that I intend to buy, I don't want to carry on shopping as long as the price is reasonable. Yep, absolutely. I like to listen to how their script goes, and when it ends, it becomes interesting. And that's the other beautiful part about reviews, guys. When you ask someone to do restricting, let them put their own personality and flair into it. Why? It makes it more realistic. It makes it more interesting and engaging. Okay, so Arika says, what do you think about other Just One Dime members that ask for reviews, but we haven't tried their product? So I happily will give a review for a Just One Dime member because they're like my family. So I don't have to like or love their product. Doesn't matter to me. If that can help them, I will. Now, if I buy their product and they want a verified review and it's not discounted, so it's verified, and I don't like the product, I'm still going to give them a good review. But then I will message them privately and say, here's what you could do to increase. Because the whole point is to get a review. I want to help them. So give them the chance to fix it. Warriors, don't give another warrior a 1-star, 2, 3-star review. Like, seriously, it just, don't do it. Like, I can't tell you that. I can't make you not do that. But I'm just telling you, I don't think that helps at all. The whole point is they're trying to get social proof. Help your fellow warrior out. And if their product, you think it's crappy, be honest and tell them. Just say, hey, look, guys, here's what you can do to improve it. Give them a chance to fix it instead of putting that review on there that sticks forever.
Yeah, we still want to make sure that the products are high quality. So we are we are going to let them know, but we're trying to do it off the Amazon page so they can fix that and make their product make any fix any issues that they might have on their product.
Yep, absolutely. Many good reviews will not pull your product up beyond how good it is, right? Many good reviews. So many good reviews, they help. Oh, exactly. They're not going to change how good it actually is. Exactly, Jurgis. Can we ask John members to leave unverified reviews to give a quick boost while building actual reviews? You absolutely can, Brittany. But keep in mind, when you say boost, okay, the review itself is not for ranking. The review is just for social proof. It's is to increase the conversion. Every time you guys look at a listing, always think two things. How does it rank when you type in the keyword? How soon does it come up? And second, how well does it convert? So yes, you absolutely can do that. Guys, that's what the launch page is for. It's the Wild West. You're free to do whatever you want as long as it is not illegal or hurting someone. Be creative, build a community around you, find ways to promote your product. That's 100% however you guys want to do that. So yeah, you absolutely can do that, Brittany. And another thought on that, you guys, verified versus unverified. I know people feel like, man, it's got to be verified. I don't think there's as big of a difference between the validation of the two as most people believe. I don't think there's a huge difference. How many people look, wait, it's got to be verified, not like, to my experience, we see very little difference in our products when it's verified versus not. Verified is better, yes. But non-verified work, absolutely. I can name a member right now that comes to mind doing over 100,000 a month, and on their product, they got no verified reviews. They just got 4 or 5 non-verified and started selling. How did they do it? They differentiated it so well. It was so clearly better than the competition. They're crushing it. Mark says, had one job member give me a 1-star, hold on, 1-star review just because she wasn't sure how to use the item. Yeah, I would message them and say, could you please remove it? Don't do it through Amazon Seller Central, do it privately. Yeah, that's just ridiculous. Like, I wouldn't do that to you guys. Like, even if your product was terrible, why would I give you 1-star? We're family, we're trying to help each other out. So yeah, guys, don't do that. And is it gonna happen? Yeah. Are some people gonna do that? Yes. Maybe some people don't realize how discouraging that can be to a fellow seller. The whole point was I'm hoping for a 5-star. Matt says, you mentioned, Alan, about revising instructions based on star reviews. Did you highlight to potential customers in the listings that the instructions have been improved for the latest batches? I'm assuming that's referring to product social proof, Alan?
No. We got about 4 or 5 2- and 3-star reviews on a product. And most of them were because they weren't following instructions correctly. So we changed that on our actual product on the insert. We made the instructions clear. We did contact the customers and try to see if we can replace the units and send them units with the new reviews, with the new instructions. But it's at this point I don't really worry about those. I know that I'm gonna get better reviews, and I just fix the problem and just keep going with the new units.
Yep. Okay. Alex Rivera says, what do you think of Amazon algorithms bringing old negative reviews back on top? The way that happens, Alex, is if you look at the reviews and you've sorted them by the most popular, that's based on people who upvoted that review. So what I would do is get a bunch of people to upvote your best reviews. Akbar says there's no chance we get less or negative reviews if we have quality product and better differentiation. Akbar, you will. You absolutely will. Even the tea that I drink that has the same name as you, even though it's great, it'll still get negative reviews. Why? Because there are competitors out there, and there's some people, when they have a bad day, they'll take it out on the internet. It's just the world we live in. So it will happen. But yes, the chance is much less. Jason says, I agree with the verified, non-verified. I don't remember even noticing this type of thing when I was a normal Amazon buyer. Exactly, Jason. People don't think about it. It's not like, oh, I got to get the verified. Usually the people who are aware of it are the sellers, and we obsess over it. But remember, guys, we're not selling to ourselves. We're selling to the customer, the shopper. Does it really matter how long we wait to leave a review for an item on Product Social Proof after we receive it? It absolutely does, Jeff. If the review is done too soon, Amazon can flag it, because how could someone leave a review if they bought it today and they reviewed it today? See what I mean? They need to have received it sooner. Second, even if they did leave a review after receiving it, because Amazon sends that notice out after you receive, sometime after you see the product. If, let's say I got this, yesterday, reviewing it today is a little premature. I need to wait 10 days just to make, or 7 days, just to make sure I had the chance to use it. That looks more legitimate. So that's the purpose for that. Hung says, does downvoting negative reviews move these reviews to the bottom? So Hung, it depends. When you're looking at the listing, you can sort it various ways. You can do it by most recent or by the most helpful, okay? The most popular. So when you sort it by that, that is based on the downvoting and upvoting of that review. So downvoting the negative reviews is helpful. Seth, if you get a 1-star review, yes, and I have and do, Jason, I'll push it closer to critical. Exactly. You're exactly right, Jason. Oh, no, it won't push it to critical or positive. It just ranks it. It's like a listing. It's ranking how soon it comes up. Does that make sense, you guys? When a member is first starting, a negative review can have a devastating effect on their account matrix. Absolutely, Fred, you're 100% correct. Yep. And if that happens, you guys, and you get that 1 star, what I would do is first contact that person if it's a job member directly, not on Amazon. Okay, because if you ask someone to remove a review or change it, and Amazon sees that, you can get in trouble. You're not allowed to do that. You're not supposed to. Some people still do, but ask them off of Amazon Seller Central. Second, I would just calculate, okay, I got 1 negative. How many positive do I need to bring that percentage down? And I would go for it. Seth, if you get a 1-star review, Amazon can't remove it, only the customer can. Yep. Unless there's very rare situations where they actually can and will, Dong Hao, but it's very rare. If a 1-star feedback, both Amazon and the customer can remove it. Is this true? Absolutely it is. And Amazon will remove the negative feedback if the feedback was actually a review about your product and not about the service or the company. What about verified versus non-verified review for differentiating better product? Does that matter? As I said, it matters little. I would give it a little credit, but not much. Is it safe to have friends upvote or downvote reviews, or is it too risky? In my experience, it is not risky. You're just upvoting or downvoting. I've never seen that become an issue. Now, getting reviews, that's a different story. Yeah, no problem, Jason. Okay, what happens, says Grass to Go, if you launch and somebody like a competitor just launched with like 100 reviews? Don't you guys love that? You look at your competitors like, boom, they got 150 overnight. What are they doing? With like 100 reviews ahead, and once you click on their reviews, you find out it was another unrelated product. What do? Grass to Go, you focus on your own product and keep building it. What's going to happen, and Amazon does this quite well, when they get a flood of reviews and they're fake or they're from the same accounts, Amazon will remove those over time if it's too much. So if you get too many reviews all of a sudden, have you guys seen this? Boom, all of a sudden Amazon comes in and wipes them out. That's why Product Social Proof, we spread it out, and we encourage you guys, spread it out. We're actually I don't know if it's set up yet or not, Alan, tell me if it is, but we're setting it up so that you could say, look, over the next 4 months, I would like this number of reviews. In other words, instead of limiting it or just no limit, I just want to get 40 reviews no matter how long it takes. So you might get 1 a week. So it's really slow coming in. That's the best way to do it. Do we have that set up yet, Alan?
No, hopefully it will be by the end of this week. But yeah, we're working on that.
Gotcha. Okay. And Esther, 100% agreed. It is better to spread them out instead of getting 40, 60 reviews within a short amount of time. Absolutely 100%. And we're changing Product Social Proof to accommodate that for you guys. Okay, yeah. I'm going to go back to the spreadsheet. Go ahead, Alan. You going to say something, brother?
I was going to say on that point, I think Amazon is getting smarter about the kind of reviews that they consider. And I've seen some of the reviews that they take off. It's just like a great product. I like it. I love it. Those kind of words, they're kind of getting smarter, and they don't feel that that's enough. Not incentive, but it's not enough. For a buyer information, yeah. So they're taking those away.
Right. My favorite one is when we get ones like this. It'll just say, "Happy." Yeah. I'm glad you're happy. Can you please say something else? Or the other one is the other reverse, where they'll like say, most horrible product in the world. I hate this product. Is danger, danger, stay away. Like those also often get removed because they're so negative. They're not even realistic. It's not helping. Like, tell me how, tell me why. You guys see it when you're studying critical reviews and you're trying to find out, give me something specific so I can build my product better than the competition. Okay. So back to the slideshow, guys. Let's go to the next slide, brother. So now we're going to talk about what you can do. First point, create the best product. I know that's obvious. I know that's stated all the time, but I'm still seeing products launch that aren't the best. I'm seeing photos that aren't that great. Guys, create the freaking best product. Not just physically, okay, that's important, but also the perceived value, the picture, the copy. Make sure yours is obviously the best. If it's not, it's become a Me Too product. Like, oh, there's something I want to sell too. I want to make money too, and just jumping on the bandwagon and trying to sell too. You don't want to be like that. You must differentiate yourself. What is going to be similar between you and your competition? You're meeting the need they're meeting. What's going to be different? You're doing it better than anyone else. Next. Build in healthy profit margin. This is so important. If you have no profit margin, you have no leeway for your product to promote it, to change it, to better it. This is why higher priced items can give you more profit margin long-term, even though they're more expensive up front when you launch them. So if you're selling a product that sells around $30 to $40 to $80 to $100, that's going to give you a lot more margin than if it's $12 to $15. So build in a healthy profit margin. What is a healthy profit margin? 40% or more. That way it counts for PPC ad campaigns. Running a PPC ad campaign has become more and more important, not just to get it ranking, but once it is ranking, you still want to drop the budget, but keep it going so you're collecting data, and you can use that data to optimize your listing over time and make it better. Next one.
Seth, do you also like to, besides the 40% margin, do you also like to focus on a dollar price, like the lowest dollar price amount?
So what I like to do is if you were to take, let's say there were 10 mugs, okay? These aren't really comparable in the same category, but you get the idea. There's 10. These are the top competitors. This is mine. This is the most expensive. Mine will be the second most expensive. The second. But I can only do that if when people see the first photo, it's immediately obvious that clearly he has the best listing. He has the best product. No doubt about it. Go ask 50 random people, sit down at a coffee shop, pull up your computer, go to Amazon.com and say, I want you to do this. Go to incognito so it doesn't favor the listing based on your product. Have them type in your main keyword. Hopefully your product should be on that first page. And as they scroll through, say, okay, which one is the best? Which one is the second? Which one is the third? If yours isn't one of those, something's wrong. Yours clearly has to look like the best. Not only be the best when they get it in the mail, but look the best because they can't touch it and see it yet. So they have to be convinced. And if and only you're doing that, you guys, then yes, exactly what you said, Alan, take that, that cost and make it the second most expensive. Because what it does is it differentiates yourself amongst different kinds of buyers. Some people, they only want to buy the most expensive item. Perfect. You're meeting that need. Like some people, they'll buy it because it's more expensive. You're not the most, but you're second. So you're meeting that need. Other people on the other end, they're always looking for the best deal for the value. Remember, best deal doesn't always mean cheapest. It means the best price for the value. Both parts, both values have to be considered. Now you're meeting that market as well. Then you have the middle buyers who are kind of like in between. This is the kind of buyer I am. I want to look at the reviews, but also don't want to spend 4 years reading them. I just want to get a general idea and make a decision and move on with my life. You want to cover them as well. So the second most expensive, but clearly the best product. That's, in my opinion, that is the best place to be.
Okay. My question is because I've talked to people that say, I found a good product and the numbers are great. It's 50% net profit margin, but it's only $2 in the amount. So I usually recommend them, okay, look for a product that is at least $7 in profit, the amount, because you want to consider, some PPC, and at the end of the day, at least to have $4 or $5 profit. So right. For me, it's I think you have to kind of combine both. The percentage, the net profit percentage is very important, but also the amount not to be like, $2 or less than $3, because then you don't have enough money to spend on PPC and other promotions. Does that make sense?
And this is why it totally does. And this is what I like to do. I'll use Amazon to do this. I'll pull up all the competitor listings. Then I'll go in on the back end of each one on Amazon, and it shows me their price history, okay? So let's just say there's 5 competitors. Just for example, there's 5, and their price history is like this. And I'll look at all of them, and I'll say, okay, which one on average is the most expensive? Okay, it's this one. Okay, which one's the next? Okay, let's just say it's, $70, okay? No, let's do 80. We have an $80 item, so $80. Then let's look at the next one. Oh, it's $70. What am I going to sell mine for? $75. So now I'm in between. Then, having said that, now I have to ask a question. Can my listing create enough value that they would still buy it, being the second most expensive? And then third, what are my profit margins? Now that I'm talking to suppliers, what can she do for me as we build this out, right? Oh, they're going to add this on. We're going to ship it to this one, send it in. Can I actually still have a healthy profit margin? So I look at all 3 of those factors, at the very beginning when I'm doing my product research before I make that decision. So in other words, I want those profit margins built in from the beginning. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does. Thank you.
And the third point, guys, make your featured photo so good that it's obvious to anyone. Make it really good. This is the same example I said. You go to a coffee shop, you have a whole, you type in the keyword, have a bunch of people do this and ask them which one would they buy. People buy with their eyes. The number one most influential factor on them buying actually won't be the reviews. It's going to be that photo. That featured photo needs to be absolutely amazing. Now, here's the disadvantage. After you've worked with the product for a while and you have the photos like you want, they could be 3D renders, they could be regular, Photoshop photos. You get so used to it and kind of in love with your product that you don't see the flaws anymore. You need someone else to look at it, or use PickFu or another website to compare and just look, which one do you like? And just get people's input. Let them decide. Doesn't matter how much you like the photo, right? It matters how much they like it. And one more step. Leverage super links when launching your product. We have a super link we use. It's in the launch section. This link, I still have yet to see anyone else offer this link, because what it does is it removes the need to go. You can go to a storefront first. That's a good hack. You can do it, but this removes even that. It takes you directly to the listing because it removes the timestamps out of the URL. So instead of clicking twice, you click once. What it does is it simulates as if someone went online and used wooden tea mug as the primary keyword. So they search that and boom, it comes up. You just give them that link. They use that link. So every time there's someone purchases it to get you reviews, you're helping your BSR. Now, how much is this really going to help you? If you're applying the boost hack and your listing is not fully filled out yet, it's still skinny, like it's gaunt, right? It's just got one photo, a title, a bullet point, and that's it. And later you're going to fill it out so that Amazon treats it like a new listing so it ranks first. It helps especially towards the last few reviews you get right before you fill it out. So what happens is you're starting to rank and you fill out the whole thing and boom, that pushes it forward. So I highly recommend you leverage the super links when launching your product. Use all the ones you can, but I like ours the best. All right. Anything you want to add to that, brother?
No, I think it's a great idea to use super URLs, and I was just thinking, and this might be something separate, but I think a good idea to add on the product social proof is just to have the option for the seller to give us the URL they want to use on there, so they can create their own their own super URL, and then we just use whatever they give us. Would that work? And I think he just went offline because his camera got I think the battery just he doesn't have any more battery, but we'll wait for him to come back. But I think that's one of the things that we're gonna do, so we can use that. So we're gonna go back to Q&A, and we're gonna keep going and see if Seth comes back online. So let me see. I'm gonna just go back. Esther says, "Do you think it's better to spread?" Oh yeah. I think Seth covered that question before. Mark says, "How do you think some sellers are getting 100 verified reviews so quickly?" They are using probably different, launching methods or different programs to get reviews. Seth, are you back?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. My battery, my Sony went out. I just replaced it.
Yeah, we figured it was the battery on your camera. So I was just answering the question from Mark. He says, "How do you think some sellers are getting 100 verified reviews so quickly?"
They're buying them. They're going online to Fiverr and other places, and they're buying these. I wouldn't do it, you guys. It's too risky. You don't know who it is, and once one of those computers gets detected and they find all of them, it puts them at risk. Now, at the worst, what I've seen is Amazon removes the reviews. I haven't seen Amazon shut anyone down for it, but I think it's risky. I like for our products, I don't personally show you because I'm protecting my products for understandable reason. We have people launch within our group, people who I work with. I do it here, and it works awesome for me. Sometimes reviews get removed, but it hasn't hurt us yet at all in any way. So I prefer doing it here because it's more controlled. You can do it. I just want to encourage you guys, don't get obsessed over, oh my goodness, they're getting 100 reviews. What do I do? They're also playing a very dangerous game because they're buying them from other places in the world where they run all these simulated computers and they put a bunch of reviews on there really fast. That's a huge red flag to Amazon. You want to do it more slowly and carefully. Even just talking to a few people, you know, who you're not friends with them online, saying, look, do you like this product? Buy it. Here you go. Do you like it? I'll reimburse you. I would love if you just share what you love about the product, and anything you don't, let me know. Like, just be custom about it, you guys. It's better to get a few really good ones than trying to get a blast of a ton of reviews. I don't recommend it.
Okay, so Don House says, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Can Peter and Angel always find out the product that we're looking for in China?
Yeah. They can't. No supplier can always do that. We have one gentleman who built this new prototype idea, and there's no one. We brought in other sourcing teams. We looked like everywhere we could in China and other countries, and realized this has to be built brand new, and you have to get special people to come in to reproduce this prototype at a mass scale. So no, they can't always find the product you're looking for. No one can do that, Dong Hao. But 95% of the time, yes, they can. And what I would do, guys, is when you're looking for a product, especially if you go to Alibaba or you ask our sourcing team to find it for you, we have two sourcing teams. There's a Peter and Angel's team. There's also another team. They both work in conjunction. We have offices here as well as in China. You want a supplier who builds the kind of product you're looking for. It's not so important that the product is a mug. What's important is that it is wooden and has varnish on it. See what I mean? The factory doesn't know if it's a mug or not. What it's used for is irrelevant. What matters is, can the machine produce the actual goods? You see what I mean, you guys? So look at it that way. Asira says, does it make a difference if you're using your business email for product social proof? Meaning, is it safe for reviewing products, or does it make no difference? Alan, you're the master of product social proof. I'll let you answer this question.
No, it doesn't make a difference. The account, most of the people are going to use their personal account to buy the product on Amazon and leave the review. The accounts that have more history of leaving reviews, actually Amazon likes them. They send me emails, you know, every day saying thank you for, you know, helping us, you know, helping with the review, and we like to keep doing it. So they're happy with people leaving reviews, as far as, you know, trying to protect, you know, product social proof and all that, we just upgrade our system today, as a matter of fact, where we went away with connecting our Seller Central account to the system, so we don't have that connection. And it's not because we were worried about you know, Amazon raising a flag. We just don't want to have that connection anymore, because our approval system changed, so we don't need that. And that's kind of like the only issue a lot of people has been concerned about, having to connect Pro Social Proof with their Amazon seller account. So we don't have that anymore.
Excellent. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Alana, yes, you absolutely can respond. Just do it from within Seller Central. You can change. So when you respond, you're responding as the seller, not as the buyer. So it's completely separate from your buyer account. Now, people can connect their buyer account and their seller account together, the same email, or they can keep them separate. It doesn't matter, though. Just do it as a seller from within Seller Central. Marique says it's dangerous to make your products too cheap, as that makes it appear that it's not high quality. Also devalues your product culturally. This is especially true in China. So it depends, Marique. What I would say, instead of focusing on cheap, I would say focus on value. So when my daughter gets cell phone cases, my younger daughter, she will get very cheap ones, but she loves them. She didn't care if they're cheap because she wants it for the look. When I get cell phone cases, I have some really nice, you could probably tank with this thing, but it's strong. And I spend a lot more. So the difference there is, you could say mine is high quality, hers is valuable to her is a different value than me. What's valuable to her is I don't want to spend a lot of money. What's valuable to me is quality. I don't mind spending a lot of money. See what I mean? So just be careful with that. I understand the risk there for sure. You know, the reputation of, oh, it's made in China, it's cheap. But focus on value, because some things, they should be cheap and you'll make a lot more money selling them that way. Because some people, they will not spend more money on a product. You might have poured tons of money. You have the best cell phone case in the world, but if it's broken out of the price cap of people's minds, they won't buy it. See what I mean? Robert says in PSP, you have to have a fully built listing, correct, Alan? What about the one bullet hack? Does that still apply?
It does apply. You can actually just get the information from your Amazon listing, and if you only have one bullet point and one picture, you can enhance your listing on our system, and that's only going to show for for our members. Right. But then you give more information to the members on our system, with more bullet points, more pictures. When they go to Amazon, the only thing that we want to make sure is that the price is the same, but they can buy from your Amazon listing, and then later on you can edit your Amazon listing with no issues.
Absolutely. Yep. So as long as you have your own ASIN, you're good to go, and make sure you have the buy box so it's buyable. Otherwise, it won't work. Yes. Natalie Godoy says, I like reading the 3-star reviews because they usually have something positive and negative to say about the product. I get an idea of what they're doing right and wrong. Absolutely. 3-star reviews, Natalie, are probably the most legitimate reviews out there, because usually people, when they give a 3-star, they don't love you and they don't hate you. They're just kind of like, okay, let me give the facts. See, 4-star, yeah, 10 a little more positive, some negative. 2 could be too negative, and 1, I don't even look at them anymore. I used to, but not anymore. When I'm studying my competitors, I mean. Before approaching suppliers, how do you estimate the shipping price when you are calculating net profit for potential product? You can't. I mean, you can look at the cost per kilogram, the standard, but it's constantly changing like this. So you can't really get a super close idea of that. What I would do, AA, is just go talk to a supplier with a product that's around the same size and weight. Hey, if I did do these, how much would this cost? And get a ballpark idea. Yeah. And remember, if you have enough profit margin built into there anyways from the beginning, then you should be safe. But you're not going to be able to get an exact one, only an estimate. Where's the super URL in the launch section? If you go into the launch section on launching your product on the left side, I believe it's the 3rd tab down on the left side. You should see it right there, Tim. If you don't see it, Tim, shoot me an email. Seth at Just One Dime. Okay, Alex, it'll take too long to explain that super URL trick right now, but it's all written out. If you guys don't find it, email me, and I will make sure you have it. If you Google some of your competitors, says Brittany, that have got a ton of reviews in a short period, sometimes they come up as flagged online as suspicious reviews, and it will tell you if they got them quickly. True. I wouldn't worry about what they're doing, but it will, yep, absolutely. Do reviews matter if your product is already on the first page? They do, because your conversion is just going to go up even more. Now, here's a question, Kira. If your product's on the first page already and it's selling like crazy without reviews, that means you did an awesome job of differentiation. If your product's on the first page for a keyword that generates more than $1,200 a day for your product niche, then that's also awesome. But if your product is getting on, remember, when you say on the first page, you have to explain, what do you mean? Which keyword are they typing in? Because I can type in one keyword and you don't show up till the 10th, and I type in another one and you show up at the top. So the question is, how much money is being generated for that market when that keyword is typed in? In other words, if people go online, you can see this in Amazon in seconds, and you just type in, I'll use this again, brown wooden tea mug. And I noticed that all on that first page, there's $13,000 of sales every single day, and I can see that in Amazon easily, and you're there. That is amazing. Good job. That's really, really good without reviews. That's hard to do. But if there's only 2 sales a day for all the top competitors, that's not that amazing anymore. That means you need a different keyword. Does that make sense? Kira 440. Can we reach out to Facebook friends to write reviews, or is this a big red flag to Amazon? Matt, it's completely up to you. I've seen it work. I've seen it not work. I don't recommend it. That's why I don't recommend everyone be friends with everybody here on Facebook, to protect yourself from that. But man, it's completely up to you, brother. Yeah, I mean, I would be selective if I were you. Just be selective on who you trust, but you're not really close friends with, okay? Or you're not friends with them on Facebook at all. Another idea, guys, is go into retail stores where the same kind of products are being sold. And or places where people want to sell it and give it to them. Say, look, you can feature this here. It's yours. Would you write a review on it? There's so many places you could find for people to do reviews for you.
Yeah, I think at one
let's
point
see.
Amazon was
going.
erasing a lot of. Amazon was erasing a lot of.
I can't write. Go ahead.
From friends, from people that would to you on Facebook.
Sorry, man, you cut out, brother. What?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I think at one point Amazon was erasing a lot of reviews that were from people that were connected to the seller on Facebook. So that was,
right.
But they're always testing things. So sometimes they might not really care about. Sometimes they really enforce it really, really hard. That's why we recommend not to do it.
Right. You're cutting out quite a bit. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Let me see.
Okay. Yours keeps cutting out quite a bit. Hey, you might just turn off your video a little bit. That'll help.
Okay.
Mitra says, I can't write the review. It shows expired. I wait 10 days. The system suggests, but now it's expired. What to do? I believe she's talking about product social proof, Alan.
Yes. Usually what happens is that when you buy the product, we're gonna ask you to wait for 10 days before you leave the review. And then after those 10 days, you have 5 days to leave the review. And after those 5 days, it goes expired. So a lot of people is letting the reviews expire. So meaning they're not leaving the review within those 15 days. So what we're doing is when they send us emails, we extend that product for a couple more days. And that's the case of Mitra. We already sent her an email. We extended 2 more days so she can go back and do the review on the system.
Jeff says, if your new product is so different and crushing it, how long would you estimate it takes before people start copying it? So if it's so different as in no one else is doing it the way you're doing it, 3 months at least, 6 months more realistic. If you truly have created a new product, a new mold, basically you found the molding company, they're not on Alibaba, so no one's going to easily copy you by finding your product on Alibaba. 3 months would probably be the fastest. And by then you already have the majority market share if you're doing a good job. At that point, I wouldn't even care, Jeff. Sorry, Lucas, your name just came up. Alan's audio video isn't cutting out for you. Awesome. Cool. Okay, I want to make sure we get all these questions. If you find a high demand, low competition keyword and build a product around it, if there are no competitors, how would you price it? So if there's no competitors, Dong Hao, then that means there's no money in it, most likely, or at least you can't test it. In other words, if I find a product keyword, okay, low competition, and it's high demand, the way I know it's high demand is because it's generating sales from competitors. So if it doesn't have competitors, it's not high demand. Unless you found this at Walmart, you send it in, you create a listing, and you're finding how many people are searching for a wooden cup with the letter J on it in medieval Renaissance style. See what I mean? Now you know, okay, there's a lot of demand for it because you don't have sales to indicate it because no one else is offering this. So now you have information to use to build out that product. So I just want to make sure that is clear, Dong Hao Chen. So as far as pricing, I would take the closest product to what you are selling, find the closest one, and base it on that, but raise it up a little higher because you don't know yet what they're going to pay. So it's going to be a test. You're going to have to play with the price a little bit, but you don't want to start too low because then if you raise it after that, you could lose your buy box. Second, you want to make sure it's higher because no one else is selling it. So your chance of it converting is much greater. Let me know if that makes sense, Dong Hao. Alan, is there anything, do you want to take that last question there by Evelina?
Sure. What do you do with negative reviews received while running PPC to collect data? Also, should my listing look like when only created for purpose of PPC, bare or nice? If you're just using that product to collect data and you're getting some negative reviews, I would use that as data as well to get why are they getting the negative reviews and use that to create a better review. Depending on what you're trying to do, but in your case, since you're collecting data, I will probably, if I get too many negative reviews on that listing, and I have enough data to to create a better listing, I will probably create a new listing once I'm ready to launch. But I use that data, to make sure that I don't make the same mistakes on the product once I have all the data that I want. All right.
Alan, 100. And there's two ways I like to do it. So the listing is bare if I'm just trying to get how many searches people are doing. I don't care about the listing. I could do a different listing. I don't care. I'm just getting data. But if I want to find out conversion and things like that, the click-through rate, if the listing's bare, no one's going to click on it. It looks ugly. All it's going to tell me is what they're searching, how many searches. And again, I know there are people who claim this and claim this and claim this. We can get you with all these different algorithms, the exact volume search. I know a lot of software programmers. Amazon does not release that data. I wish we could say we could do that, but to be honest, you can't. No one has that data. That's why we're huge on autocomplete. That is accurate data. It's precise. Volume, it's generic. Even though there's we have great other people in this industry, you're only going to get it from PPC. I know this. I know this by experience, you guys. You have to run PPC if you want exact search volume on a keyword. And even then, it's probably only 90% accurate. Not even Amazon has it accurate because they're basing it on when people are searching and clicking. There's too many contingencies. So having said that, if I just want to get search volume, it's a bare, ugly listing. I don't care. It's just bare. There's nothing, one photo, title, that's it. But if I'm trying to get conversion, like, okay, for this keyword, how well would this convert? No one else is selling this right now. So I want to find out, what are people clicking, not just how many searches, but how many of them actually clicked on the listing based on this photo. Now I'm going to make it as beautiful as I can, and I'm going to have enough of these to sell, even though I bought them at Walmart or Target or had someone from Etsy who I found their awesome product. They built it for me. We had 50 shipped here. We paid them a ton of money for it, but it was worth it to me with the agreement. They will be I will pay them a chunk of money to get rights to sell this. Guys, there's so many thousands of ways you can crush this out there. So in that case, I'm going to make it a beautiful listing. So I know what the conversion is. What is the click-through rate? Out of 100 people who see the impression, how many actually clicked on that? And of those 100 of those people who clicked on it, how many purchased it? That data will tell me how to build this bad boy. You see? And guys, that is precious, precious data. Do not underestimate the value of PPC ads on Amazon. Everyone under the sun will promise, exact keyword volume. It's simply not true. Can we get there somewhat? Yes. Is it a general? Yes. But it's not exact. Yeah. And that's why we recommend you run PPC ads. Anything you want to add to that, Alan?
No, man. The only place that we are finding out that we can get a little bit more closer idea, it's on the merchant PPC area. I don't know the name, exactly the name, but they won't even tell you the volume. They tell you this is a low volume keyword. This is a medium or a high demand or a high volume keyword. They still won't give you the exact number.
Right. Which is more honest than saying, here's the number. Real honesty is this. These results are from Google and DuckDuckGo and Bing and other search engines. And we also integrated it with autocomplete on Amazon, and we came up to the best conclusion we could get. That's an honest answer.
Right.
Alan, is there anything that you want to share about product social proof before we close this up to clarify anything? I know a lot of people have questions about it, what it's like, someone in here said, what are the advantages, what are the pros and cons? Just to make sure everyone's on the same page, product social proof is an automated software, allows you to get reviews on your product quickly. And there's a lot of accountability. If they don't leave you a review, if they give you a terrible review, they're removed from the program. You will get your money back if they don't leave you a review. And if you buy the product, you will get your money back after leaving a review. So it's just built in a lot of accountability, so you don't have to go chasing people down. Hey, did you really leave a review? Hey, when do I need to PayPal you the money back? Can you just give us an overview? Is there anything you want to share in light of that, brother?
Well, we just launched about 2 weeks ago, and now we've been getting a lot of feedback from the users. We have over 500, I think 600 users so far, and we're doing a lot of changes based on all this information. So it's getting a lot better now. Everything works. It's just the matter of making it a lot easier for people to kind of go through the process of buying the product, reviewing the product. but we're doing a lot of changes, and we're doing it very fast. So I think it's gonna get to the point very, very soon where everybody's gonna be able to understand. And the main things that the main issues that we're dealing with, as far as support tickets, are just people having a little bit of issues, or little bugs that we're fixing. So I'm happy that everything's working fine. We are doing a lot of big changes to make sure that that everything goes smooth from beginning to end, and we are sending notifications to everybody to let them know what things are being changed, and what are the new features that we're updating every couple of days. So far I think it's working very good.
Okay, awesome. Guys, if you run, and you will run into any problems, submit a ticket. It's still in beta stage. We're learning how to make this as efficient and helpful as possible. So please make sure you submit those tickets. Alan's team will receive those, and we'll constantly going back to tweak it and make it more effective. Really good questions, you guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to answer just one more question for Martin. I can't resist the temptation because I love the question. If we have a product that people buy for different uses, would it make sense to have a separate listing for different people? In other words, product, okay, the listing for this person, listing for this, and each of them has a different title, focusing on the purpose of the product. I don't recommend it in most cases, Martin, for the simple reason that you have tripled the work you're going to have to do, and not entirely the money you're going to spend, but you're going to spend a lot more money to get to a point where you're making money. So that will cut into your profit margins. Time and money, two assets that are very important. It'll cut into it. However, if your product is so amazingly unique that one person, uses this for drinking tea, and another one uses it for, I'm trying to think of an example of eating stew. That's probably not a good example. For playing a sports game. This is getting terrible. Okay, in that situation, definitely. But if you could say, look, this tea mug, it holds soup, and you also can drink tea from it, multi-purpose, you should be able to cover both customer segments, customer types, based on the listing and the bullet points in the title, and how you do that. Really good question. Awesome. Hey, everybody. Warriors, really enjoyed meeting you guys, so many of you guys in Las Vegas. Cannot wait to see many of you guys this fall. In China, we have a full-on sourcing trip that we are going on. Coaches, source, every person will have their own sourcing agent walking the Fujian marketplace with them. And of course, we're going to the United Kingdom so we can party. No, so we can actually do it also. So I will see many of you guys, my British friends, in United Kingdom this fall. Love you guys. My dog is whining at the door, so I think it's time for me to go. He's like, come on, Dad, we got to go. So thank you. I will try that, Kira, the jasmine tea from Indonesia. Thank you. Absolutely. Guys, have an awesome day. Keep crushing it. A lantern light. We're going to the UK. I just mentioned it. We're going to, China trip is in September. So we're going to United Kingdom in September. China trip is September 16 to 22. He's saying I got to go. All right, guys. Email us. See you guys.
Take care, guys. Have a good day.
Bye.